Hey everyone, this is Chris, your friendly neighborhood Minnesota comic geek, back with part 2 of my mega comic book haul from the Minnesota Comic Exchange comic show from the weekend of February 24th. If you've already watched the mega haul video, then you'll know that there were 2 comics that I got at that show that I didn't include in that video because I want to dedicate them to their own video. Before I get started, I would ask that if you enjoy this type of content, comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoy talking comics, then comment below. All right, let's get into it. As I already said, the Minnesota Comic Exchange here in Minnesota, wonderful Facebook group, puts on this small little kind of strip mall type comic show over at the Valley Creek Mall in Woodbury, Minnesota, several times a year. This was the weekend of February 24th, and is the first show of the year. There'll probably be, I don't know, like three more shows throughout the year. But in the mega haul video, I showed all of the dollar bin purchases that I made at that show. There were, again, as I said, two comics that I also got at that show that fall into one of my 2024 comic collecting goals, and that is to spend a little bit more money on more quality purchases. And the first one being the JSA Classified #1, featuring Power Girl, drawn by Adam Hughes. And this comic, specifically this cover, is such an iconic modern cover that I have loved for a long time, ever since it came out back in 2005. It's such a beautifully drawn cover. Power Girl floating in the air in a relaxed, reclined pose. It's a seductive pose on her part that Adam Hughes has drawn her in. Like I said, I have loved this cover since it came out. I think it's one of his best covers that he's ever drawn. But as you can see, the comic dealer who I bought this from had an original $45 price tag on it, but at the show all of his wall books were 20% off, so ended up getting this for $36, which for this personal grail, totally worth it in my opinion. Graded copies, if you find this book, go for much higher than that. Happy to get this in raw form. While I didn't get this book way back in 2005 when it came out, I did buy something else as a placeholder, for lack of a better phrase, and I will show that right now. So years ago, while I couldn't get the original comic, or I couldn't find it anywhere, or I didn't want to couldn't afford the higher price tag of it at the time, DC came out with this cover art reproduction print of the JSA Classified #1 comic that Adam Hughes did. And so, as you can see, this is what you got. I think I paid like $75 for this at the time, but you get this wonderful reproduction of the Adam Hughes's original pencil artwork, along with the cover reproduction and a little certificate of authenticity, and that there's only 1,000 of these were created. So this is number 75 of 1,000, so kind of cool to get a low print number. But I've had this for a long time, and it's been kind of a valued part of my collection that I would love to get framed and someday. But it's such a beautiful piece of artwork. You get to see his pencils at full scale. Something cool that DC did, and kind of wish they would do more of these with their comics, and same with Marvel, Image, like putting together these kind of higher quality, like gallery style art pieces that collectors could hang up in their homes and their offices, you know, just to showcase the comics they love, especially when you buy the comic purely for the artwork. You know, be, I think, a good product for them to sell. The other book that I picked up at the show was the Death of Captain Marvel graphic novel. This is a book that has a ton of comics lore and history behind. As a young Silver Surfer collector, reader, you very quickly become aware of the other cosmic level characters in the Marvel universe. And at the time I started reading Silver Surfer, Captain Marvel was already long dead, but he came up quite a bit in my early reading, and this was a book that I always heard about and but was never able to find for a decent price. It's just been one of those long-term personal grails that I didn't necessarily actively seek out. Was just hoping to eventually find one at a convention or a show. So happens this show in Woodbury on the 24th. I was digging through dollar bins, and one of the dealers had a copy of this graphic novel, the Death of Captain Marvel. This is the third printing, so it was only $10. It's it's in a little rough shape. I can't tell if it's dirty or if that's just I can't see, like, if that's dirty or if that's how the book was originally kind of published. But regardless of the condition, I'm just glad to finally have a copy of this so I can finally read the story. I flipped through it when I got home just to, essentially take in the story through just the visuals alone. It looks like it has a kind of crazy ending with him and Thanos. I think when this takes place, Thanos is technically dead, I think it seemed like in the book, but I can't say for sure. I'll know after I read it. But overall, the comic show, I think, was a success because I was able to buy a lot of the Uncanny X-Men issues that I wanted to target this year, and I was able to acquire 2 of my own personal grails, both for their own reason. I'm very happy to finally have copies of to add to my collection. It's one of the wonderful things about these just random comic shows is you don't know what you're gonna find, but you're gonna find something good, guaranteed. You're just gonna find something awesome, and I got, in my opinion, a lot of awesome books when I went there. What do you think? What do you think of these 2 books? Leave your comments below. What are some of your personal grails that you're hoping to find, just randomly? With that, I will end this video a little shorter, part 2 video. So thanks for watching, and again, if you enjoyed this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, comment below and let's talk some comics. Bye.